Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is James Thomas, and I thought I'd try to do something different on controversial, what you see on social media right now. Um, One of the topics that I see often is that people who have problems in inter interracial relationships, marriages, and dating and things like that. Um, the funny part about what you see on social media, you have some individuals, they make some good points, and they might have some good points in what they projecting as far as as far as the men and women that get together behind the scenes. And I have watched people on social media, such as YouTube, talk about this topic. And some people who are in it, you know, they have an unrealistic point of view that think that every person of the same nationality is going to be involved with somebody who is of a, of the same race. You can't expect every human being just because they have the same complexion as you to be involved with someone that looks like them when clearly you never know how love is going to guide and test the waters. It's really sad that people are jealous that and you have to question the motive why people would make an argument such as this. You have to look at the meaning that when you have a person that makes a video constantly about that topic, and looking at the woes and the bad and the good, constantly looking at the bad, when you can be when it could be any person that can, whether you're a same race person, a person of the same race, date a woman of the same race, to have the same issues with the woman of the opposite race. And that, I mean, they made a good, and in this argument, they do make a good point that, yeah, there's going to be some flack. There's going to be some, you're going to, kids going to go through some problems. There's going to be some situations that in the climate that we live in, that there's individuals that's going to see, logically going to see race. But the point, but the counteract with that is that no matter what you do, people, even if you were by yourself or with a significant other, people gonna find something to like and not like about you anyway. I mean, to be realistically, to be honest with you, people gonna find something. Whether you're a black man or woman, they're gonna find something not to like about you. Sometimes the deep hatred comes within your own people. Sometimes people, just by the way you present yourself, if you don't present yourself as a so-called, someone who has a certain swag and a certain appeal, a certain this, you got other black people will judge you because you're not talking this way, you're not presenting yourself this way, and they think something odd and something wrong with you. I mean, you have some black people like that they discriminate more against their own and don't even see the unique differences in their own. And if you have an education, or if you have a intellectual, you want to choose to speak intellectually, where you come from, what your background is, and it seemed like the perception is that you got to be like everybody else. If you black, you like everybody else. And this is before you get to the white people and the other people. You find out more likely sometimes out of 10 you get discriminated against your own people because you're black, because you talk proper, because you was raised in a different setting than any other place. And it's just because your parents wanted to improve your background, so the environment that you came from plays a role in that. And the people that sit around that environment is different. And yes, you're going to go through some racism as a person of color, which is true. But overall, you can't look at the whole opposite of another race as the same and saying that they all must be has some secret agenda against. So maybe we should not even be involved with these people because it might be people that really know how to love, who are into the interracial relationship. They know what the consequences is going to be about. But sometimes there's something deep within the person's spirit that can arise above and understand that they know what the opposition is, and some people simply don't care what the opposition is. And then you have people, and then you have to question someone's motive. And I've seen different individuals on YouTube that make this a topic every time throughout the whole that to get an audience to get aroused up about it. And if you got to make a constant topic about one of these topics such as that, it's something wrong with you. It's like, why are you so obsessed with someone else that even though they have the same skin color as you, why are you so obsessed with who are they marrying and who are they dating? And and nine chances out of ten, I find out that these people who have this opinion on social media is basically that they're not happy with themselves. They're happy whether whoever is complaining about it, if it's whether it's the woman or it's the man, the black woman or the black man, white woman. It must be, but really comes down to that individual and people who think like them, that they're not happy in their relationship, so they got to find fault with somebody that who they can't attract because they have a certain personality, and they ride two waves about it because it's something when someone has something on that kind of category, you have to look at that person deep. Why they keep bringing something up about something like that? You have to ask yourself. Look at listen what they're doing. They try to sound very intellectual and sound very. They try to sound really high minded, but really, what is their motive? Don't they understand that not every human being, and just because someone don't agree with what you're thinking, it could be in the same skin, in the same likenesses. Maybe they haven't come to understand the experiences. But some people look at life differently. I mean, some people is you can say that with any topic. You can say it with religion, you can say it with politics, you can say it with anything. People are going to have a different outtake and out like. It's not that they don't deny that's the problem. It's just that they don't let it affect what's around them. And it seemed like when people see other people who are of the same race that they are, they seem to have the problem with it. And it's really crazy that you would have a problem with another human being selecting on who they choose as a mate, and that things are changing. Then they try to use that. They try to put it on God to say that God didn't want these human beings involved with these human beings, which it doesn't make no sense. It does technically it does not make no sense. They take the something you're going to come across human beings that you're going to interact, and that's just the social network and the environment you live in, wherever city, town, state, country you live in. But for people like here in the United States to make a small segment, it might be a mid segment, it's a small segment to make a big deal about it is something. It's like it's something logically wrong with people that constantly have to make an issue about this when they know that there's people out there among the whole races of people around the world and as well as in this country, the United States, that not everybody's going to be on the same wavelength. And it's really and it's really sad that someone has to that they take all this time out to be focusing on something such as a topic such as that. And you got to really question: is they jealous or what's going on? Why they have to keep bringing this up? And I've seen certain YouTube personalities that in certain communities that brought this up, and it's like, okay, it is what it is. You can't explain it, and then they use prejudice terminology to describe someone in their own same race because they choose to define someone of a different nationality, so they're considered a sellout, and they call racial epithet names among their own people before someone else of the opposite race who find it a problem call them that name. They call them, and I said, how is that possible? And it's crazy. So I just wanted to chime on in on my opinion about this, and it's just I don't know if I ever get an audience or someone listening to it, but it's just that there's nobody having the middle ground and it being objective, the good and the bad about this. No one's not really weighing both sides out as far as why did some people feel like a couple when they see a man and woman, whether it's especially when it comes to black and white. Like when you see a black man with a white woman, a white, white black girl with the white man. What is the deal? I mean, you can't logically think that every black person or every white person that you see are going to be on the same board, that's going to think the same, go have the same, and go act the same. And if they don't act the same, then something must be logically wrong with them. That because we're so programmed to see race and not to see character and content of it of what is in our family, which is what makes up the individual. God didn't design a human being, all a race of human beings that think alike. Every human being got to be on the same one accord. Every human being got to eat the same thing. Every human being got to like the same thing. If you don't like this, you're not black enough. If you don't do this, you're not white enough. I mean, it just don't make no sense when people try to justify this is what for our community. Well, our community, everybody got to think like one of our, and that's crazy. That to say that just because another black man, we got to agree on every doggone thing. And if I have an objective and different perspective, then I must be a sellout or some horrible name, a racial name that describes somebody just be simply because I might have a disagreement in what his view and what my view is when it comes to certain whatever topic it may be. And it's really sad when you have individuals that are so shadow minded that they don't understand that people, you know, it. I'll be 50 years old this coming July, and the people who are in love, however you found your mate, God bless you. God really seriously, because it takes a whole lifetime for a person to find someone that God have them tended them to be. And if you find somebody in a different part of the world or different race that can look past these issues that's in the earth today, that there's a certain type of understanding and type of love. If you find someone like that, God bless you. I can honestly say that because not too many people, they live their whole life wondering about it and worry about what other people think and what perception of the world we live in. Yes, we do, but we always lived in a climate like this in a society where there's always people didn't like another group of people. I mean, it could go back 2,000 years almost, where people didn't like each other. One group of people, and it was always fights, there's always wars because one think that one better than the other. But it should, well, among a group of people, it shouldn't affect the individuals among the individuals of those group of people that had this conflict. The conflict is with the people who see things like this, who have a mindset like this. And so it's really sad that you have people like that that just that's how they spend their time on social media making an audience tearing down at this, and it doesn't make no sense that they go after somebody. And there's a I watched this one woman on YouTube, and she's a well-known YouTuber that makes videos about this constantly. But yet she was caught up in a situation that she, had been into a friendship with white people, and she's a black woman, and she makes videos constantly ridiculing the men, the black men, for going to these other women. But yet, as a black, and the reason why no prize some black men would have to give with her is because her personality. She comes off as this arrogant kind of personality that she thinks that she knows everything, and she thinks that she has everything that according to her the data and the studies and things like that, that men of this race, the black men of this race, with 9 chances out of 10 date and marries a high number of these women over here, and in which status and that is one thing, but when you see it out in public, you can't really go by. No one, too many people are not going to volunteer to do that what's ever in their household anyway. So we really don't know sometimes until you actually see the people who are involved in these interrelationships with people, and that's all what this person does, and she digs at the men about it, and tries to somewhat come at the women. But I question her. My question is to her: how can you spend this much time worrying about two people that's involved of two different races involved in a relationship, and when you can spend all that energy, get yourself into a relationship, get yourself prepared to be in a relationship with somebody, and instead of dragging and pulling men who choose to go into a relationship with a different nation of women, and that's their choice. And the women, the black women, who do the same thing. It's a personal choice, and no one ever asks these people who are ever into relationships like this. Why are you into? What is the real reason why you pick this person to be your mate? What is what do you guys have in common? No one ever really sit down. They got one small aspect of it. Some people have alternative motives why they. It could be sexual, it could be financial, but it could with some people that may not be the case with every interracial couple. Some couples really do love each other, and we can't see that because it's something that we've been programmed through the media and through TV about it, and that different individuals need to be set apart, and that's true. And so it's just really sad that people waste all their time trying to pull down somebody who who makes a conscious choice to marry. And do interracial couples have problems? Yes, they do. Do they go through? They like any other couple? It could be like a gay couple or two men, two women, whatever. Every couple gonna have to have some problems. As long as you live with another grown human being, you're gonna have some differences and some problems. And why the way they handle it is totally different. But it's just that it's really, and I'm sitting up there and it's like, why did this person keep making video after video about that? And then at the same time, it sounds like she don't even love and like her own men because she tags at the black men in the community. I mean, it sounds like she don't even like her own men, and think that she has a hierarchy thinking over the men. And you haven't met every black man that and have every black man that choose. And some are very nice and very intelligent. The ones that even that they don't, but maybe the women that they came across, it took them a while to get themselves together, and maybe the women, maybe the women that's in a demographic of the area didn't really find favor with them, because you know how it is. You have to talk a certain way. You got to present yourself a certain way. If If you're black, you're not black enough for your black people. If you're too this, you overboard. You're being too proper. If you're being too ghetto, and it's just like it's a never winning thing. But you, as an individual, you do your own, you do your own thing. You should be able to have your own personality. Just because God put you in the skin, don't mean that just because I'm a black man, I got to act like every other black man across America, around the world. I mean, we have our own differences. This is what black people need to understand and get out of that slave mind that everybody that look like you, got to speak like you, talk like you, act like this, curse, cuss, whatever, use, old names that describe black people as racial, then use a term of an endearment to describe another black man. And it's like not everybody chooses to project themselves that way. And it's a hard thing trying to get other black people to see that, because you have a certain people in the black community don't even understand that there's people outside your hood that think different than you. There's people that want to go higher to learn something about the world and expand. And I have seen go around the world, expanded their mind. And it's sad that you have a small segment of people that they will never get out their neighborhood. They'll never come get out their clique. They'll never come out their environment, and yet they pull other people down because someone else should be in the same environment that it is. And it's the same way with the woman, black women. Some black men maybe just haven't stepped up to the plate. I mean, maybe the men maybe hurt their feelings. Maybe told them that they were too dark. Maybe told them that they was too black. They nappy head. They wear weave. They did something to really mess them up. And maybe when they went to the white guy or the other guy, maybe they didn't see all that. It could be in many reasons. And maybe there was somebody that really hurt them, and which I can understand sometimes things like that happen. But somebody should be mature enough to know it shouldn't reflect the whole entire race, because the same person of your race hurt you, just like someone of the opposite race that hurt you. It shouldn't reflect every human being in that race. It doesn't make no sense. And so, that's one of the topics. People don't take a medium. They don't take a medium approach when it comes to things such as this in life. And are there going to be race problems? Yes, there is. But why should it allow it to affect your environment and who you pick as an environment? And when you pick and mate, and they happen to be of a different nationality, I mean, because you're not marrying, you're marrying an individual. At the end of the day, you're going to be compatible. This person that God is giving you to be a mate for hopefully stick around for the rest of your life. That's what it should be about. People shouldn't be sweating on. And if you find somebody in a different part of the world or in some place in the United States that is a different nationality, that they know what love is, if they can look past the skin, if they can look past the flesh and the bone, and they understand what that is, you have a blessing. And I think people who spend their time hitting on the subject, there's something logically wrong with them. Now, there's something at some point, like, why do you keep making this a topic? It's like it's the same person that if they were being homophobic or whatever, it's like, okay, that there's people who are in an alternative lifestyle. So why if you don't agree with it, you don't agree with it. That's one thing about it. You have the right. But you got to understand that there's other human beings that maybe that what they're finding as love, that's their way of seeing love. It may not be the way you find love. And it's like anything else, that you got to understand that there's different people with different prospects and different aspects in this world. And then when it comes to the same way with the interracial relationship, somebody's going to find somebody who they love. And that's just how it is. And you have to adjust your mentality with it. And there's some couples who are interracial, just like same race couples, are not going to get along. They're going to have fights, divorces, breakups. I mean, some get pretty deadly, like you see. And people try to adjust and make excuse and say, see, that's why you can't be involved with these people. But you can find someone who is in the same race as your people, just as crazy and just as sane, and not just a fool, just like someone of the opposite race. That's the truth. And we don't want it. And as I don't think we like that, people don't like to admit something like that. So they make it an excuse why two people should get involved. And it was funny because when people want to throw up the Bible, there were mixed race people in the Bible. There was different nationalities, and we might not know, what we know from what their country came from, and we know, God told certain men not to get with the women because when it came to the word of God, some people don't get it. It's because what the rituals and things what they were doing, that they were doing things that was paying homage to the other gods, and that's why they went out into the wilderness and did all these things. It had nothing to do with the person's skin color. It was the rituals that they were doing. They would go back and pray. Like for example, King Solomon. Reason why God got upset because these wives would go out and have his kids, and they want to go out there and worship their own gods. They want to go out, and that's these different nationalities of women that he had. This man was, he was rich. He was rich in everything. But the reason why is because the rituals and the praise and of other different gods, and the Almighty, the only God, Yahweh, saw the whole deal and was upset with Solomon because that what his wives were doing. It had none of it, and Solomon had different nationalities of wives. Yes, he had other women, and you can this proof out there that showed that he was involved with other women of different nationalities that married and had concubine. Um, you see, with Abraham, he had the Egyptian woman and Sarah that was a Jewish woman. We go. Moses had a woman that was a different nationality that was a different nation. She was an Ethiopian woman. You could see that once. Apparently, it must have been something why his sister and his brother was upset that he was hearing from God, but all of a sudden he put this woman to bring the woman into the family. That the writer put that in the book of Numbers. And apparently, whoever the writer was that put that and said, and the Ethiopian woman. So, and this is when God, stepped in because they didn't heard and he didn't heard of what Moses had went through. Then they criticized because he picked a wife of a different nationality, which God was okay with it, with the Ethiopian woman, which must have been a separate from the Hebrew, was because they were Hebrews. That's what the Bible said. He didn't get a woman that was a Hebrew, but she was the Ethiopian woman. So that must be two different nationalities. God didn't seem to have no problem with that. So God didn't seem to have no problem with that then, and apparently God would say it was okay for him to pick the Ethiopian woman. So if God, and it was a different woman that he picked for him, why is it so is back then? So why is it if people trying to make an adjustment now on a woman who you pick would allow God pick, and it could be a different woman of different nationality as long as she have the same belief system as she does. If she don't go out and do the rituals and bring in some pagan goddesses or whatever into the worship system, in which, because God's supposed to be over the man and the woman, and you don't bring in this other entity of worship among the one that's over you and your husband or wife, whatever. That's what it was really about. But some groups of people took that out of line. Oh, you see, you're not supposed to be with them women over there because they Esau or some crazy stuff. I said but you can't say if the woman, but if she's a believer in Christ and you're a believer in Christ, and God said, okay, go ahead. It's a blessing because you both are believers in Christ. You both believe in the same God, and you're not going to go out there, and your wife is not going to go out there and drag some false God and false rituals into the relationship that would interfere with the marriage. So that argument most likely is debunked right there, because they didn't identify as black, white, Chinese, Japanese. They would identify from the land, the villages, or where they came from. When it came from what and when it came from the Bible, whatever they the Libyans, Jesus from Nazareth, he's a Nazarene. You know, they were all described from the village where they came from, and which is it's just crazy how people. But some people look at the Bible and they really don't really hear from the Spirit of God. They go by the carnality. They looked at it without really asking God, what is this? What this mean? And so they take something and they put it out there in social media or around some people who would listen to this mess, instead of really asking, seeking God and fasting and prayer when it came to a topic like that. On what did this really mean? When you didn't want, why was Nehemiah so upset that he went and smacked the men across the head, pulled their beard? And I mean, clearly it's because you see that their wives were, that these men who married these women were going out and basically paying homage to their gods. They were picking up the local, whatever around that area was. So and that's why the prophet was upset. Had nothing to do with what their skin color or their makeup of their nature. And so people use that as a justification of it. And I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, God didn't want the people. He could have kept it separate, but man, for some reason, do sin and sin and some, it could have been a good thing, but some men got greedy and evil in their heart, and they did the bad thing to one another. And you can't take another human race and say that this whole human race is guilty. If the whole every human being, just let's say you automatically guilty of something, and there may be some people may not know the whole story of what really happened. Some people don't know. Maybe in Europe don't know. There's some people it could be some people here that may not know the whole story or have an understanding, because people don't properly communicate to one another, and that they can put something like that to rest. And that's the truth. This is the God's honest truth. And so this is why they try to justify people their bigotry. They try to justify they prejudging somebody and saying, and then they try to dictate somebody of the reason right and the reason wrong. If you meet any person in a relationship, whether it's in an interrelationship or the same race relationship, make sure you go by the content of their character. Let God show you what their character is about. God's not concerned with what their race is about, what nationality is about. He's concerned with the character. If this person characterly line up with you, and he leaves that up to you and show you what, because it's something deeper than the skin. It's deeper is within the personality of a person, and this is realistically. Because I mean, you could be with the same, again, you could be with the person of the same race and have nothing in common. You could have nothing in common. You might get to the point you can't even stand one another. You could be spiritually disalignment, but you're gonna be with somebody simply because society said, well, that brother's with the sister or whatever. But you don't. But maybe they, I mean, it'd be nice if they lined up spiritually. But sometimes not all people are lined up just because they have the same skin color. They're not lined up spiritually. That's why these people are in divorce. They're in relationship because they go into a relationship thinking that this preconception, and it's true. And so the people who will get involved in relationship interracial relationships, I'm pretty sure that some of them know what the consequences is, and they make the conscious decision to go for it, and just don't care what people think. I mean, to the point that some people don't care, but that people are gonna look at you funny, and some people are gonna. But some people are just no matter what. You could be by yourself, people look at you funny. You could be ugly to good looking. Somebody gonna look at you funny. I mean, it's realistic. You could be by yourself, and people might not like you. What difference make what the person that you have next door to you? What difference does it make? And then the people, and then the same woman that or same person, man, making this argument, they're not attracted to this person in the first place. So why does it affect you? Why does it affect you that this person picks someone of a different nationality when clearly they're not your type? You would have a long-term relationship to lead into a proper engaging in which life tend to be to go into marriage with. Because there's some people who are too much of themselves to really notice this, that they too much of their ways, their habits, and things like that. And so you have to consider that too. That's the truth. That's you want to be real. That's being real. That not all people are going to not all couples get alike. Yet it's going to be is peaches and roses. Every couple going to have a disagreement, whether it's the same race or different race couple. You're going to have some type of disagreement. But people try to make excuse to try to keep the person, two people alive that doesn't maybe destined to be put together. It may not look not logically or what your perception of it is, but isn't there some place in the Bible where God's ways are not our ways? But God could have brought that brought together. Maybe it's to teach us to come together and teach us something about love. Maybe that's why some interracial couples are together. I'm just saying, you know, maybe we're so angry in the midst of it, we don't really think about things like that. Some people truly are in love, and God bless them that they are, because it just to find somebody in this lifetime, it's hard. It's hard, man. It's a hard way to go, whether you're male or female. To finally find your mate, and you didn't put a limit to, you didn't put it in the box. To find somebody that can bring happiness. You bring happiness to them, and they bring happiness to you. That's a blessing, man. That really is. That's really a good blessing. And for people who keep making this argument about that, why don't they consider that? That yeah, there's gonna be some opposition, but if you had a person of the same race, it could have been opposition in your family. I mean, you could be. They said, "Well, we black. You know, my spouse is black, but but your mother, your father, your brother, your sister might not even like them for some reason, because they think they're too good, or they're too hood rat, as they would say. So it's either or. Is either or. Either way, you can't win with people. I mean, she could be deceptive. I had a friend of mine. You know, he's black. His ex wife was black. This is a true story. Um, she, he was a good, hardworking, strong black man. Got a career in electrical, plumbing, and everything. Let me tell you what she did. She had two kids by a previous relationship. He took and married her. She's a black woman, black man, black woman. Everybody promote this, but this is what she did. She accused him of molesting her children. He lost his job, and he lost his job, his career, had to go to prison, and then she lied and said that the neighbor was trying to hit on her, cost him his whole life. So, and this was some hood rat stuff, man. I got two partners that did this, and they decide to stay with the woman, and that's why I said don't matter. And I got another partner right now. He been married for a while, but his wife don't help him out with shit. He's black and she black. She don't help him out with when it comes to the kids, when it comes to the everyday pressures of life. She can't handle certain things. She can't handle things and really like be it as far as being a wife, when your husband out there busting his balls off for work and doing everything. He got to come home, he got to cook, he got to clean, and he got to watch their son who was autistic, who has severe problems. And when something go wrong, she has to bug the shit out of him at work instead of taking responsibility. So this is what I'm saying. These are same race couples. This is same race couples that have these issues. And this is some my other friend who got accused, which came about that come out now before his mother passed away. He didn't even get a chance to go to see his own mom funeral. Come to find out later on, his mother before she passed told me that he was innocent. Told me that she did this to her ex-husband, to their baby's daddy. See, you got see there's not a specific type of woman you gotta watch out for when it comes. You can't just say that it's the other women over there you gotta watch for. You gotta watch for women that have the same skin color you do too. And that's the truth. They could be just as wicked as the women who we try to wicked wise the other women. They could be just as wicked. So really it comes down to this is the personality of a woman. But some people want to put it on social media as the color. Oh no, 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 oh no, no, no. You have to look at the content, the character of a woman before you select her. Any woman, regardless of race, color, creed. Look at her character, and sometimes you see the same traits in every character of woman. Some of the same traits. Some are good at heart, some are blessed by heart, and you have some of can be scandalous, sneaky, materialistic, and will cut your throat, and she can get money. There's some women like that. They get a come up. That's the truth. They get a come up. They'll cut your throat. Don't necessarily have to be a certain race or woman. But it's sad that you have this watch out for those other women over there, those foreign women over there, those white women over there. Watch out for those women over there because they're gonna take your money. Watch out for the foreign woman over there because she's gonna do this. But what do some women do here? And some women, American women, some of them, some not all, say you can't get with me if I have heard more criticism. Instead, I've never heard a woman saying that particular women, in some, whether they black or they white, that would say this. He got to make six figures. He got to be projecting this and projecting that. But what as a woman, what can she bring to the table as far as a wife? Some women is so independent they don't even know how to be a wife. They don't have there are women out there that don't know they don't have wife qualities. Like they could say men don't have there's men out there that don't have husband qualities. To maintain a relationship that's we supposed to have one-on-one as a partner and equal to God. There's some women out there that do. And and it's true. And so really, when people make this argument about that try to blame when you have American women blaming that those foreign women over there, but you got the same thing. You got some American women doing the same stuff over here, and they doing scandalous stuff, setting men up, and have them killed, beat up, whatever, and thrown in jail, thrown in prison. But we like to blame it on another nationality or another woman from overseas. But you got some women just here, they won't stand by their men just as well, and they don't care. They don't care that they hurt him and destroy. And this woman that did this to my friend destroy him. To this day, he can't probably can't get a job nowhere. Then he has to stay away from the school zone because they never took that off the record. This is supposed to be what they say you're black queen. This is what happened. So really, whether you're black man or any man, go for the character of the woman. Don't listen to this. Oh, you got to pick a queen. If you don't pick any other woman, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic, man. Just like it's the same way with the woman when it comes to a man. You got to find a man that know how to be a husband, basically that know how to. And there's some men that don't want to be immature. Maybe it's some women that have to go find a man that know how to be a husband, and it might take going to another nationality. That's why they do. That's why some black women maybe they do go because maybe at the point they really these particular women, black women, are looking for a husband than a man that have the traits of a husband. Just like we as men looking for the traits as who want to be married, who want to be in a relationship with a woman, and wants to be a wife. Some people don't, some people don't want to be married, so they want to screw around and everything, have many partners that they want. But sooner or later, that's gonna catch up to you. It's gonna catch up to you because you might. What do you get? Close to my age or past my age, and you can't get it up no more, and you didn't wore yourself down as a man, or the woman could be wore herself out as a woman, and she might not feel like other women would. She might be at that peak where she might be in the prime. She still have that she still can feel sexually. She still feels like a woman, sensually and sexually. You have to think about that. But some people they look at life unrealistic. So these people that's trying to make this argument about this, they haven't really they have to see the other side. Why some people pick someone of a different nationality. It's not that they don't hate. Well, maybe it's just that maybe the person that in some cases didn't project what is the responsibility of being a mate, a spouse. That's what it came down to. Maybe the people that they haven't come across, so that's why they are in this relationship with this person of a different nationality. That's that could be the reason. But people already assume, I know what it is. It's because women do this, and that these white women would do this, and when the black women won't do this, and da 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 da. You don't know. You can't say that for every white woman or black woman will and will not do. You can't say that. You cannot say. You can't say that. You don't know not every black woman, not every white woman is the same. They truly not. When you a man that date different types of women after a while, black and white and other, you will see that sooner or later you're gonna figure out they're the same. You're gonna come in a circle, they're the same. Whether it's women and you're gonna see certain traits and certain characteristics. If they're in a westernized country, they're the same. Or maybe they're not in a westernized country. Soon they have westernized ways. They're gonna pretty much be the same. Gonna have the same traits. Certain traits you're gonna see the same way. I mean, some will submit, some will don't. But every woman ain't the same, and that's how I look at it. And so people that again that make that argument is really they're very shallow. They really haven't really been around the block, outer block, around and haven't really sat down and have a good discussion about this. And I haven't yet seen someone really come to the realization that maybe someone did try to stick within their own race. And maybe the person they didn't come across hurt them really bad, whether it's a male or female. Get over it. Toughen up. Screw you. And it's like, okay, I go over here. So you find somebody who treats you and love you and respect you even more. And that could have been the case with some celebrities. Some celebrities, now that they got millions, people want to bitch and complain, but the same person, but before they got that money, they didn't want to be bothered with it. They probably dogged them out. They probably called them all kind of names and poke fun of them. Now, when this person finds somebody who they get along with of a different race, now they're a sellout. But they don't tell you that type of story. See, it's always no one ever asked these, and this could have been the case with certain people, men and women. No, you don't ever get the other side before you start assuming. Ask somebody, just or make a discussion. Ask somebody, have a deep discussion. Ask somebody, why did you get involved with this person? I mean, it don't hurt to ask. Don't assume that okay, I know why you with that white woman. I mean, I know why you with that white man. How do you know? How do you know? Maybe it was something deeper than what you imagined. It was something magic. Maybe they did try it and it just wasn't clicking. Maybe somewhere along the line, maybe God was showing that this is your potential mate. We never know. We never. Well, this person will stand by you through thick and thin, through thick and thin. And there's some white women that know how to stand by just like black women do. Stand by their men through thick and thin. They know, but it's the character of their character. It has nothing to do with some stereotype or some color. What she's submissive and this, that, and other. Because there's some white women don't submit. They don't submit. They just got an ego and attitude, just like some you would see what we would claim some black women do, which is the truth. And some other women will fall right along in that same category. Trust me, trust me. You will be surprised. You have to go by the character of a woman, not not just assume. And not saying that all black women over here this and all white women over here this. You don't know that. You really don't know. There might be some black women that really would be good listeners, but know how to submit. But it takes God. It that type of woman, that type of woman, it takes God. And I believe that there's black women out there that do know how to submit. I do believe that there's black women that do know how to be a wife. I truly do. You know, despite what's going on, despite some men, there's some black women that do. They've been through the bull crap with some men. They've been through some bull crap. They have seen their mistakes. If they used to think that they're wising up, and hopefully that some will wise up when they're young, when they don't get too old to find out. But I believe that there's some out there that do. You can't label a whole group of women, or whether they're white, black, white, Hispanic, or Asian, Arab, or any of these other nationalities. You can't. It's not. It's not logical. It's just not logical. If you been a single man, and you date all different type of women over a length of time. I mean, not just one black woman, not just one white woman. I mean, not just one Asian, Hispanic. I mean, if you date so many different kind of same woman at the time, just being friends with them, being in a likeness around them, you would pretty much see that's pretty much the same. I mean, the characteristics of the woman is pretty much the personality. If you get a group of women, go into a room and you study the group of Hispanic women, you'll see something different with the personality. A group of Asian women, Arabic women, women from India, women from Jamaican women, African women, American black women. There's going to be something that's going. You're going to see some women who are wife material and some women that are not wife material, that are just as materialistic and just as attitude and got issues just like any other woman out. And it's the truth. That's the truth. And that's the realistic. In the same way, I'm pretty sure if you're a woman looking for men out there, if you're a woman looking for a man, it's pretty much gonna come out the same way. And so that's my intake on it. But the people that have this objective that make it put it on social media about it all the freaking time, ask yourself, um, really get a second thought. What is their motive? Why they have to keep doing that? Is it something that they're jealousy? What something deeply psychologically wrong with them when they trying to be so psychologically all together and all super bright and super this? Ask yourself that. Why do they have to keep making that a topic? That's one topic that they can't see another person that honestly can be in love with somebody based on who that person is. There's some people that are really in love based on something deeper, beyond the flesh, beyond the stereotype of what a man's supposed to, this black man or this French man, this Italian man, and Spanish man, whatever it's supposed to be. There's some women that got some sense enough to know that the love of man is more than that. There's women from all races that have sense enough to know, and that's pretty much I wanted to bring some balance to this discussion that's out there. Hopefully someone would hear this and they would examine what I'm saying and examine what these other people out here are saying as being objective to this, objective. And just think about it. Just think about it. What's this person's motive? Are they jealousy? Is it envy? Why they have to keep, pointing out? If I keep pointing out about black women dating constantly with white men or any other men and making an issue, making a video about it, and it must be something psychologically wrong with me. And I don't have the scruples and sense enough to know that not every black woman is gonna, be what I would perceive them to be. There's different beneath the skin. It's different personality, different traits, different likes, different everything that make up that could get along with this person, to be in the same atmosphere with this person for 1 year to the rest of your life. If you want to choose to have this oneness with this person, one relationship with this person, you have to be realistic. That's being real. That and it's just that, and that's just the same that. But there's other women out here who don't think that way. And why don't you focus on if you're a woman, black woman, why don't you focus on the men who do the right, black men who do the right things, who do love black women, who do show responsibility of a husband. There's good black men that are husband like, but they get passed over because you got some black women who's so angry, like this particular woman. She's so blind. She's so logic, but she blind enough to know that she can't even see what a husband really is. Therefore, she's angry. Then you see later on that this particular woman, it seemed like, she got some daddy issues. And some men are right. Some women do got some daddy issues. Like, you so angry at this black man, who had this issue against men, and particularly black men. And you're the black woman. And here's the crazy thing about it. If you hate black men so much to make this statement, whatever, then logic and sense would tell you, if you so about being pro-black and being in the black community, it's going to take the man to drop the seed and see that to continue. This is what I don't get, these people who are like this. They're so angry at the man. And it's like, but in this course, there's irresponsibility among men and women, or black men and black. There's some irresponsible on both sides. It's not just one side, but it's just that it's crazy that when you have these people on social media, I'm like, man, you really are just shadow. You really have a warped perception of it, and you're not looking from both angles, and not really to be balanced in both angles, as far as men and women, that they both make mistakes as far as the decision on who they mate is, and the reason why they pick this other mate over here. This the reason why they picked this person who is Caucasian, who is Asian, Hispanic, Arab, whatever it is. Maybe they're trying to find the quality of a husband when it's a woman. If it's a man, a wife. Is this person I can get along with most of the time. A mature person. A not mature person, if they just want to hit it and quit it or whatever, as they say, hit it and quit it, and they want to get that, what they call that lust experience. They'll taste it, just taste every flavor, so to speak. then of course they're immature. Of course they immature as far as life. And it's gonna catch up to them as far as their body. Because your body can only sustain that so long, having so many partners, that it's gonna wear you down mentally sooner or later. It's gonna come back and haunt you sooner or later, and that's the truth. It's gonna affect your body. It can affect you when you finally meet that person. Say, "This is it. I want to settle down." And it's sad, and the most embarrassing thing, you won't be able to perform sexually because you didn't give yourself to all these past partners. You have made a soul tie with this partners, and the enemy has literally drained you of that, your youth, and you had to go and get medications and different, they boost you your thing back up again, like if you were the days of your youth. It's the truth. It really is. It's the truth, and this is the reason why. But the logic of it is, women. It comes to black men, black women, white women, so on, different nationality of men and women. It's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. Just because they speak a different language, you're gonna find out they're pretty much the same. Everybody has certain characteristics. You got your wild, you got you're careless. They don't care. They're materialistic. You got people that's just like that. They're looking for they're looking for the come up. That's with everybody. Even if they were in the poor country, they would probably they're looking for a come up. That's the truth. But the main thing is when you're picking a mate, whether you're a man or woman, you should be picking who can match your personality that you have, and it's not good to have 500-600 people, partners, whatever, because that's it will come back to haunt you. It'll come back to hurt you, and somewhere along the line, wisdom will kick in and tell you this is not the way. It's not supposed to be designed, and that's the truth. That's the honest God truth, no lie. And but I just the reason why I thought I'd make a topic like this because it's like someone has to speak with a sense of balance. It's too one sided on social media. It's too one sided. It's not. There's no balance. There's no one is really. There's not too many people out here talking balance like this. That realistically, because you can't find fault with one when you see the same faults in your own. You see the same traits. You see the same mentality, and that's when you have to look deep within the character of a person, to look real deep in the character. And you don't have too many people that do that. You got a lot of people with just foolishness, and they speak foolishness, they talk foolishness, and they blind. They so narrow minded, and it's amazing how I see people that have been around the country, around the world, and they still don't grow out of that narrow mindedness. There's people I've seen that still shadow. They still they I don't know if they're scared to be of themselves or whatever that is. They when you have the pleasure of traveling into different parts of the world, different parts of this country, stepping outside your neighborhood, you are a unique individual, and it should show how balanced you are. You can still be real, but show the balance that you are. And I think that there's some of our people, black people, are scared to show that balance. They don't want to show balance. I don't know if they're scared to be different as far as that. If they I don't know if people would think that if they get too high minded, they'll think they'll lose their connection in the community, whatever. But if you've been different places and have a different aspect of life, whether you've been overseas to Europe or Africa, someplace, or to down to South America, let people see your balance. Let people see how balanced you are. That's that's what I would suggest and everything. But anyway, that was my topic for tonight. And I hope someone hear this, and I hope you get around. Maybe share it with somebody. And I know some people they might not like what I say and don't call me all type of names, but if you sit down and really think about it and think about what I say, there's a balance to everything. And it's not this is not being no simp or to being no it's not being no beta male, whatever these certain terms I hear people use. This is being real. This is being practical. This is being long term because the only way to have a balanced relationship that pass on if you have children, they have to see you balance. To show another generation, they have to see you balance. If you're not balanced, then your kids won't be balanced. And you will see it project on to the next generation because you didn't allow yourself to be balanced. That's that's the truth. And I'm no I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm no minister. I'm no pastor. But it's just things that I've learned with experiences over time. And you by listening to other people, hearing other people, and learn not to make the same mistakes that they do. And you see stuff, and I think it's something that's God given. Some things you can't learn by a book. You can't learn by man. It's some things God literally have to teach you. He literally have to teach you because it's just some things. It's just it is what it is. It is what it is. And so, yeah, it's just you know, but the interracial thing that should be a balanced up topic, a realistic balanced topic that people are going to fall in love and they're going to look at something beyond what we might perceive to be. I know what it is because you want to get with this person because it's sexual. You heard about these people's sexual organs or these people's athletic ability or these people's status as finances and all this silly stuff, man. When you can't place that on in every relationship, you can't place that in every person's relationship. Compatible that they are, see the things that they like and what they have in common. You'd be surprised as the whole human race what we have in common. If we sit down and just talk to each other, if we could just sit down and be as rational human beings and talk to one another, you'd be surprised what we have in common. And all this nonsense that we allow the media and other things, and there's some negative people out there. There's negative situations out there, but don't let it cloud your judgment as far as what the other perception is to be. This is what I've learned, and you get to a stage in life. Takes time, takes maturity to see this, and, and even though there's some men that claim to be mature, that talk all tough and try to be all this, but really hear them out. Here. If you meet them in person, offline, see what they really about. Sit down. You sit down in a room with a person, you can talk to them face to face. You will have an idea what this person is really about. That's what I've learned. Because anybody could be anybody over the computer. Anybody could be anybody and talk a lot of mess. But what are they like in real person? So I hope that this stream have got someone to think about what I said about being balanced tonight, as far as this topic, intermixing with people. And I pray that you would take heed to this. And be blessed. And don't let no one separate you. And don't let nobody judge you on what it is this topic. When it comes to this topic, you do whoever you fall in love with, you fall in love with. Don't worry about the people, because if they were happy with each other, they wouldn't worry about what another person as far as a mate is. They wouldn't have to worry about that if they're happy in their own relationship. Think about that. If they're so happy, then why are they making this a topic? Are they happy? Because if you happy with somebody, most people that are happy with their mate, they're not even think about stuff like this. Something's wrong. I'm just saying, question things like question when people have this type of topic. You see this topic go across social media, and you sit down and just study these people, study them, and allow God, those who you believe in God, to show you what is they really about. Look deep, hear them deep, because something's about to come out. This is where your discernment kicks in. Something's going to come out and tell you something about this person. It's going to tell you something about this person who got this issue with relationship with another, a race having a relationship with another race. Has there been some bad out of worse situations in the past? Yes, it was. Was it out of, and it was some people with alternative motive? Yes, it was. But not every person had that alternative motive. Can't go with any group of people and just say that the whole group of people must think like this individual, because that's not fair. And that's what you're projecting out. Even though that's not what you're saying, but that's what you're projecting out. Okay. Have a good day.